Hello friends, welcome to my channel. I am CS Jaspreet. This video is regarding the observance of code of conduct by CA students. Now ICAI has made an announcement dated 2nd December 2020 regarding the observance of code of conduct by CA students. Now I will talk about a general thing, code of conduct. Code of conduct is important not just for CA students but for all of us. But as CA students, I would say CA students are the future of the country. You're going to shape up into a professional, a CA professional. So you need to hold a kind of code of conduct. So as students also, you should follow some code of conduct. So institute has come up with a code of conduct for CA students, which you have to observe. Let's see what all is in the announcement. But before that, please subscribe to my channel. And now you can follow me on Instagram as well. The link will be in the description box below. Starting with the code of conduct for the student of chartered accountancy course. Now the council has laid the code of conduct for CA students to be observed while pursuing chartered accountancy course. It is applicable to all the students who are pursuing the course and includes students who have completed practical training. It is given now it is given below, but other than that, it is for the students of chartered accountancy and it is applicable on all the students. Starting with the preamble, the Council of the Institute hereby lays down the Code of Conduct. Now, what is the Code of Conduct all about? It is to maintain the decorum and discipline amongst the students of the Chartered Accountancy course. Any code of conduct is actually a reason or actually something to make you follow more discipline, to make you more disciplined, to make you see the decorum of your work, decorum of what you are doing around yourself while dealing with the members of the institute and other public in general. It is expedient to ensure the code of conduct for students undergoing the practical training under the Chartered Accountancy course, including students registered for foundation, intermediate or final course, and even those students who have already completed practical training. So this is just not for the members. While you're dealing with the members or while you're dealing with other public in general, you have to ensure that you're following these code of conduct. Regulation 66 of the Chartered Accountants Regulations 1988 makes an explicit mention that the code of conduct is applicable to the students undergoing practical training under the Chartered Accountancy course and deals with relevant procedure to be followed in case of breach of the same. So you really need to follow it seriously. In breach of the same, there is a relevant procedure as well. Starting with the interpretation, now in this code of conduct, unless otherwise stated, Act means the Chartered Accountants Act 1949, regulations means regulations under the Chartered Accountants Act 1949, institute means the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, council means council of the institute, board or board of studies, it's a non-standing committee of the council under section 17(2). Executive Committee is the standing committee of the council formed under section 17(1). Examination Committee is the standing committee formed under section 17(1). Principal or employer means a member entitled to train articled assistants and audit assistants under the Chartered Accountants Regulations 1988. Articled assistant means an articled assistant as referred to in clause J of subsection 2 of section 30 of the Act engaged under articles by a member entitled to train articled assistants under the regulations. Audit assistant means an assistant engaged in audit service by a member entitled to train audit assistants under the regulations. And the last one, accredited institution means the institution authorized by the Board of Studies for the purpose of organizing classes for chartered accountancy students as per guidelines issued from time to time. So where and so these words will show up in the code of conduct. These are the meanings of these words. Starting with the first part, that is general. Now students who are registered as articled or audit assistants under the provisions of Chartered Accountants Act. Now mostly what we call as articled or audit assistants, we call them trainees or we call them articles or we call them articled or audit trainees. Simple. In simple words, I think we call them articles. So they should conduct themselves in accordance with the guidelines provided hereunder whilst undergoing practical training under the Chartered Accountants Regulations 1988. Now you are the future Chartered Accountants of India, so you have to follow certain code of conduct. As if you're not following it, or if you're not doing good to your job, I don't think you will uh, be doing justice to your profession as well. So you need to do that. You need to follow a certain code of conduct, and it is applicable to all students, including foundation, intermediate, and also the students pursuing the final course who have or have not completed their article training, and thus shall be held liable in case they mishandle, damage any assets, property, infrastructure of ICAI or at its authorized center or venue. Also shall be bound by various provisions under the proposed code of conduct. You cannot mishandle, you cannot damage any assets or property or infrastructure. Further, such person shall also be required to maintain decency and decorum while attending programs like seminars, conferences, mock tests, ICAI TS and advanced ICAI TSS, or any other course of program, etc., organized by the institute or its regional councils or branches. In nutshell, it is applicable to students at all levels, and you're not allowed to mishandle or damage any assets or property or infrastructure, and moreover you need to maintain a proper decency, a decorum, a discipline while attending all the programs that are being arranged by the institute or the regional councils or branches. Moving forward to the second part, that is conduct of articled or audit assistant, whom we call the articles or trainees. The conduct of articled or audit assistant is very important. Then I'll tell you number wise what are the code of conducts that they are required to follow. Now the articled or audit assistant shall at all times diligently and faithfully serve the principal in the practice of profession of accountancy. You have to serve your principal, but diligently and faithfully. The articled or audit assistant shall follow the covenants contained in the deed of articles and the provisions of the Act and regulations as may be applicable from time to time. Do take care what all covenants are mentioned in the deed of articles or what is mentioned in the Act and regulations. They have to follow that. The articled or audit assistant shall be responsible for the quality and correctness of the work done by him in the course of practical training, either in the office of the principal or in the offices of any of the clients of the principal. So he shall be responsible. He or she shall be responsible for the quality and the correctness of the work done by him. What is the quality or how much is it correct, whether you're doing the work in the principal's office or if you're dealing any client of your principal, so you are held responsible for your work. The articled or audit assistant shall not at any time during the continuation of his articleship destroy, cancel, obliterate, spoil, embezzle, spend, take away with him or her copies of books, papers, plans, documents, monies, stamps, hardware, software or shuttles, whether belonging to the employer or his personal representative, assignees, partner, clients in which came into his or her hands or custody or possession, or allow any other person to use the same without the prior approval of his employer. This is very important. You cannot destroy, you cannot cancel, obliterate, spoil, embezzle. You cannot do all these things with the copies of books, papers, plans, documents, or anything that came under your custody, which belongs to your employer or his personal representative or assignee or partner or client. If it is in your custody or possession, you're not allowed to use it yourself or anybody else without the prior approval of his employer. This is very important. That is why you will be shaping into a chartered accountant tomorrow. So you cannot do all these things. You have to think like a professional only. So these things will not do justice to your profession as well. So these things should not be done. The institute says this is not a good code of conduct. The articled or audit assistant should at all times observe discipline and follow guidelines, rules and regulations set out by his or her employer and not act in any manner that will bring disrepute to his or her employer or the profession in general. That's why you have to follow such. Why are even the institute has come up with the code of conduct to just refrain you from bringing any disrespect or disrepute to the profession, as well as you cannot bring it for your employer as well. Moving forward to the next point that says the articled or audit assistant shall obey and follow all lawful and reasonable instructions of his or her employer and shall not depart or absent himself or herself from the training of the employer at any time during the said term without the prior consent of his employer or partners, but shall at all times during the said term himself or herself with honesty and propriety. So first of all, you are not allowed to depart or absent yourself from the training, and you should do it lawfully and reasonable instructions should be followed. But if you are taking leave or if you are absent, you have to do it with the prior consent of your employer or partner. The articled audit assistant shall behave in a responsible manner as a prospective member of the profession with his colleagues, staff members in his employer's office, employer's clients and their representatives, institutes officials and employees, and judicial, quasi-judicial and other authorities wherever he or she represents his or her employer. This is very important. I'm saying you again and again because you will become a professional one day while completing your CA. So you have to behave in that manner. Only you will become a prospective member of the profession. You have to behave in a certain way, in a certain code of conduct in front of in your employer's office, in your employer's client's office, your representatives and other places wherever you go and represent your employer. The articled or audit assistant shall conduct himself or herself in a manner which shall show that he or she is endowed with impeccable character and help him or her to uphold ethical principles and professional code of ethics. So you shall carry yourself in such a way that you have an impeccable character and you have to uphold your ethical principles and professional code of conduct. The next is the articled or audit assistant shall not obtain any monetary help or assistance or any form of gratification directly or indirectly from the clients of the principal, their officials or representatives. You cannot seek any kind of monetary help or any monetary assistance or gratification, whether directly or indirectly from the clients of the principal or their officials or their representatives. Students, while undergoing articled training, shall adhere to the formal dress code as per the local culture and tradition. Now, dress code plays a very important role as a person, as a profession, as a professional. The way you dress up, or as a person also, that plays a very important role in your life, how you dress up. Basically your profession, your dress code should basically be related to your profession. If you're going to your offices or if you're doing your trainings, and not as some, if you're going to the colleges or to any music show or rock show types. So students, while undergoing orientation course, management and communication skills course, information technology advanced course, should maintain discipline and decorum apart from adhering to dress code. You should maintain your discipline as well, but the institute has given you the advisory dress code as well. For male students, full sleeves shirts and trousers. For female students, saris or salwar kurta or suit, depending on your culture, depending on the tradition or the area in which you live. That depends if you're gonna wear saris or salwar suit or just kurta suits, that depends on you. And while appearing before the appellate authority, they may also wear a suit and a tie. That is best suited. So dress code is also very, very important. Thank you so much for watching my video. Hope you found the video informative. Please, before leaving, subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram as well.